Life, huh? It's a wild ride. We're born one day and we die another. But what about all the stuff in between? We get it, we know what's happening now, but what about before and after? That's where things get tricky. It's hard to say what the meaning or importance of our existence is when we don't even know where we came from or where we're going. That's why the question, what's the meaning of life, has been bugging us for ages. We've come up with all sorts of answers to try to ease our anxiety. Some turn to religion, others to love, or just the fact that we're alive. But for nihilists, life is just plain meaningless. Yep, you heard that right. Meaningless. All the good and bad stuff we go through, pointless. That's what nihilism is all about. And let's be real, we've all had those moments where we question everything and wonder if our whole existence is a sham. It's usually when we're in the middle of figuring things out, forming our own beliefs and views. That one little word, why, can make everything feel like it's slipping out from under us. But hey, we're all in this together, right? Let's explore this whole meaning of life thing and see where it takes us. Nihilism is an ideology that believes in nothing, and it's not the same as pessimism or cynicism. Pessimists believe that evil will always triumph over good, while cynics believe that people are selfish and lack any intrinsic goodness. Apathetic people may believe that life has meaning, but they don't care about it. Nihilists, on the other hand, don't believe in anything at all, including good or evil. The paradox of nihilism is that if you believe in nothing, then that nothing becomes something you believe in. However, by believing in something, you're no longer a nihilist, because nihilism is the belief in nothing. Nihilism is unique because it originated as a literary concept before becoming a philosophical idea, which means it's not as clearly defined as other philosophies. Lots of people have tried to explain nihilism in their own way, and over time, these different definitions have formed different kinds of nihilism. One type is political nihilism, where people believe that in order for humanity to truly progress, we need to get rid of all political, social, and religious systems. Then there's ethical nihilism, which rejects the idea of absolute moral values and says that good and bad are only defined by society. This means we can pretty much do whatever we want, as long as we're not harming others. Finally, there's existential nihilism, which is the idea that life has no inherent meaning or value. This is the most common kind of nihilism, and it's what we've been talking about the most. For nihilists, things like government, religion, and social norms are all just chains that restrict our individual freedom. If we can't do anything we want, are we really free? Or are we just trapped by invisible mental chains? Friedrich Nietzsche was a pretty interesting guy because he has some mixed feelings about nihilism. On one hand, he thought that there's no inherent order or structure in the world. We create it ourselves. He said things like every belief is necessarily false, and famously said that God is dead. But he wasn't talking about the literal death of a deity. He meant that people were starting to think for themselves and find their own meaning in life, instead of just following the status quo. But on the other hand, Friedrich also argued against nihilism, saying that it could lead to disaster. He believed that if everything is meaningless, then how can we say things like slavery and nuclear warfare are objectively bad? The problem is that we can't really logically explain why we feel that way, which makes it hard to convince others to share our values. Some people actually blame Friedrich for the rise of the Nazis because he continued to promote nihilistic ideas even though he saw the dangers. But he believed that if we could work through the breakdown of civilization that nihilism could cause, we could eventually create a new and better morality. Kind of like tearing down an old house to build a bigger and better one. Take a moment and look around you. Have you noticed how society seems to be leaning towards nihilism again? Religion doesn't hold as much power as it used to, and people are tearing down long-standing beliefs and cultural practices to pave their own way. It seems like anything goes now, and no matter how reprehensible something is, there's always someone out there defending it. But why not, right? Humanity is constantly pushing the boundaries until eventually we won't be able to tell who's right or wrong anymore. Shakespeare summed it up perfectly when he said, "Life's but a walking shadow, signifying nothing." If our lives are truly meaningless, then let's make the most of what we have. We shouldn't waste time worrying about whether the glass is half full or half empty. We should just drink straight from the faucet until we're satisfied. After all, life is reason enough for living. We only get one shot at this, so let's make it count. So does life have a meaning? Nihilism might say no, but remember, that doesn't mean we can't create our own purpose and find joy in the journey. Do you think life has a meaning? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video interesting, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.